Support LaneSide. Get something cool. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of LaneSide Reviews. As always, I am the bearded beast, Rob Johnson, joined once again by Scoops Porter, and somewhere in the ethos is old guy Wayne. But, I don't know. But we're about to go to the lanes with multiple styles to check out some brand new equipment and see how it stacks up. All right, guys, welcome back. As always, we're joined by our speed dominant player, Wayne Porter.
He's bowling on the easy house shot.
And we are looking at Radical's new hitter. Do you call it the hitter, or is it the Radical hitter, or?
I just call it strikes.
Yeah, that's what would that look like?
I mean, it gets his name for a reason. It hit hard.
It does hit hard.
Yeah.
Now, this is the second in the computer-designed cores from Radical.
Yeah.
They have this crazy program where the computer does all the work for them and creates these intricate shapes.
Yeah.
And what do you think so far? What do you think our speed dominant player's thinking?
He's liking this ball, I think, for sure. I mean, it's interesting because it's got a new cover on it, utility solid cover stock.
Yeah, now this isn't necessarily HK22. It's something
new.
Yeah.
And it's got the new hitter core, obviously. And it's finished at 500, 1,000, 2,000. So it's got quite a bit of surface on it.
Now, we got to get back to surface in a second here. I just want to talk a little bit about the core. At 2488, differential of 053, that's a pretty strong high-flaring core. Yeah. With a mass bias of 015, it's pretty continuous.
Yeah.
So this almost seems kind of almost benchmarky plus to me.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. It's not a monster ball like their top end.
It's not going to be like the Cash or something that hooks at your feet. This is a ball that hooks.
Hooks, yeah.
Okay, has motion.
Yeah, and you can see it definitely flares. Even for Wayne, who doesn't have a lot of revs to create the big gaps between each flare lines, it's still had quite a few.
I've never seen them count revs in half and quarters before.
Oh my God. He's going to run over and show you the ball on Wednesday.
Oh, I know. This thing flares a lot. Now, you talked about having a lot of surface on it. And this has, even though it's got a bigger, flarier core in it, this ball really struck me as benchmarky, especially watching Wayne throw it.
Yeah. I was expecting more.
Like hook at your feet, hook off the lane.
Yeah, kind of really strong, especially with it being a solid.
Yeah.
And Radical does that. I mean, that's one of the things I like about Radical. They have the strong early rolling, very big shaped, even their asymmetrics, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I was surprised that this was a little tamed down compared to that.
More controllable.
But yeah, it's amazing to play. Like, you can play straighter, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it really doesn't give anything up. Like, you watch it come off. Like, now he's moved again.
For our speed dominant player, this is something. Look,
it's still
hooking.
It makes that turn, and it just, like you said, it's a very continuous asymmetric.
Now, we're going to make a move again, even though a 4-pin is, we look at that, and that could be a one-board move, but we're going to move them zones again.
Let's move them. Because
one of the things I noticed, which is unusual for our speed dominant players, is when they go to a solid, some asymmetrical ball like this, and we put a slower response, a pin-down layout, like we've done on this one, the ball gets to the front, it kind of sees it, and it's kind of down.
Yeah.
Like, it's continuous through the pins, but it's very controlled.
Yeah.
You don't see the kind of shape that we were expecting, here maybe.
Yeah.
You can see he's trying to get it out.
Wow. It's still left a 7-pin.
That's a one-board move. He was still a little bit high. This is a shape that he cannot create.
Yeah. I mean, that just got out in that friction and just continued on. It didn't overreact or underreact.
Yep.
Like you said, it's very controlled.
When he, and you can see it here as a lefty, when he gets into the bigger stuff that we usually put speed dominant players in, it tends to roll forward more.
Yeah.
It's early, so he still doesn't get a lot of motion. He gets more motion, but it's really to get the ball to slow down to go through the pins.
And like we've talked about in other videos, here's the bonus first before I make my point. We generally don't put speed dominant players in symmetric balls.
That's right.
Right? So maybe later in the block or whatever, but this ball gives him enough of that symmetric continuation that he can play like that.
Look at that. That's a line we haven't seen for probably 5 or 6 years that he could throw out to.
Yeah.
In our house, we have a real out of bounds outside of 5.
Yeah. Where this didn't seem to mind being thrown out there.
No, not at all. You can see in the slow motion here, he started it in the same place, but he's put a lot more projection on it.
Yeah.
And you can see it was much earlier and still continuous.
Yeah, it almost crossed back across the bonus, and that's a lot of boards to cover.
That's a lot of boards. And you'll be able to see it. I find a lot of people, they can either see the motion better from the top camera or they see it better here. It's why we try to put these two in. And you can see how slow that one is. It makes it. You can see it go from skid to hook to roll really easily. Now
I like these ones to watch how many boards it covers. I know we're not supposed to left or right, but
lateral means nothing unless you're showing off.
Yeah.
Let's show off.
Yeah. Like, look at it.
And look how fast it reacted out there.
It got there and it almost started reacting at the same time as the bonus and then was there.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
It was a lot faster than I was expecting from a ball this. It's not supposed to be a hook monster, and yet it has the potential to at least give you a lot of motion.
Like we said, it's 500, 1,000, 2,000. So we could always fit a 1,500 in there and get the hook 2 or 3 feet earlier, right? And just
now, speaking of surface, here you are throwing it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That almost left a 7-9 because the ball was too continuous.
Yeah.
We did notice something, or at least you noticed something that was really important.
So with the solid cover stock that's on here, and like I said just a minute ago, it's 2,000.
Yep.
It still seemed to lane shine fairly quickly. Like, we're only putting a few games on the ball.
Yes.
And it seemed to, as I threw it, it got a lot glossier.
Yes.
The dullness kind of went away.
When you have a ball that has a lot of surface or has a lot of surface texture.
Yeah.
We talked about texture a little bit when we reviewed the Verge Hybrid from Deviate, how even though it was 1,500, it was like smooth.
Yeah.
This one at 2,000 felt furry.
Yeah.
But it seems to change surface
fairly quickly.
Yeah. So if this is a ball that you're planning to start with, you have to watch to make... That was a nice shot.
Yeah. There we go.
You have to watch to make sure that it doesn't lane shine too much for you, or that you're returning that surface.
Yeah.
Before every time you use it.
If it's going to get shinier, it's going to get up to that 4,000, 5,000 grit.
Yep.
And it's going to go
much longer.
Just much longer.
Yep.
Which, in a little bit, we're going to show you something else that can happen here, too.
Well,
I got a couple more shots before I start trying.
And this is kind of important when you're looking at a ball, especially with surface, because we say surface has so much of an effect on your ball motion. If you're throwing a ball and you like a ball at a certain motion,
there you go.
You should keep that surface there all the time. We talked about in the past about, changing surface right out of the box so you can replicate it. Some people don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But returning a ball to its proper surface after you've bowled with it is the only way you're going to get
the continuous, the same
performance.
Yeah. And I mean, that happens to me sometimes too, especially if I'm bowling well with something and I'm not paying attention.
And you just don't want to do it.
And then all of a sudden it's like, why am I not throwing the ball as well as I have been?
Yep.
And then I look at it and it's like, really shiny. So there.
Look at that.
It came off.
Now, I think what you're referring to, I don't know if you'll get to see it in this one. We may have shot it for another short.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you noticed is when it shines up, what happened to it as you started to try to spin it a little bit?
Well, I tried to come around it more to get it down the lane and have it pop off like I normally do, especially when I start leaving corners, which is a trick I use sometimes in league instead of changing out of the ball.
Yes.
It did not like that at all.
When it lane shined up.
Yeah, it stopped reacting down lane.
Yes.
The more I kind of spun it, the more it kind of super skidded and just kind of blot itself out when it hit the friction.
And that's something that will happen with any ball if it gets shiny, if it gets oil into it. The more you spin it, the more you come around it, the more it naturally wants to go down.
Go down, right?
There'll come a point at where it's gone down too far and the ball is no longer has any energy left.
Because it's burning it all up while it's spinning.
Trying to
get there. It's fighting that over under thing. That one's good. Oh. But see there. That's the shot now.
Yeah.
Okay. I left a couple 10 pins. Now I'm going to turn my hand a little bit and start coming around it and change the attack angle.
Yep.
And that's when we're having trouble getting it to actually get back to the head pin.
And we'll post that. We'll post a video about that later. But just to show you here.
I mean, the ball's phenomenal. And that's the thing is, I mean, so I might get one game out of it and have to switch out of it.
Or 2 games or whatever.
Yeah. And it's just at the end of the night, I'm going to hit it with that
surface pad
and get it back, right?
And here's the bonus, and that's something you should be doing with your equipment all the time. When you're done bowling, cleaning it every night.
Yeah.
High or lower surfaces like 1,000, 2,500.
Yeah.
Refreshing those
for sure.
Now here you are with the hitter.
I mean, look at the difference.
You could see, even though they're about the same place where you're throwing them.
Yeah.
Watch the change in motion.
Yeah.
This is why you should always have a symmetrical and an asymmetrical in your bag as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because look at the way it's going to go through the pins differently. So you see one goes out, and it's much more angular, much smaller hook zone.
You can see at the pit that the hitter is going more straight, where the bonus is continuing towards the 8-pin.
Well, let's take a look here. We're going to see it on the low camera. So here we are with the bonus itself, and we're going to pay attention to where it goes off the deck here. So you can see the bonus is going off to the right.
To the 9-pin, yeah.
That's right. So it's hitting and it's deflecting. Even though it's a strike, it's deflecting. Now we're going to put the hitter in about the same place.
Yeah, now watch where it enters the pocket and where it leaves the deck. You can see that was definitely over the 8-pin. Yeah.
Yeah, that was much deeper.
So it really drove through, which for an asymmetric ball is amazing because sometimes they give up and they kind of
roll forward. Yeah,
right?
With this one, it's definitely very, very continuous.
You can definitely see here.
Watch it again here. You can see as it goes through the pins, it's rolling out over the 8. Yeah. It's hitting the 5, the 9, the 8, maybe the 7, the guy in the back. Yeah. So what do you think of the hitter?
It's a hit.
Forget about it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.